Yeah, so I feel like again, I feel bad about that, but also like, testing beliefs and pushing things is sort of my jam.
I
So
can't say I'm shocked,
I know,
Mr.
right? That's kind of how it
Apple.
goes. Um, so yeah, so I guess after that scene, we fade out on the sort of vignette of or the tableau of the Messiah being anointed by the God of Fire. Um, what's the next thing that happens? Like where are we? Where does the scene reopen?
I feel
Um,
like out front. Go ahead.
one offering I have is that because like Saba, after that all goes down, Saba's just like, cool, y'all suck, I'm out. And just like goes on to do the next part of the coup, which is for her to like go like stealth over to Robati or not Robati, sorry, Marta's situation and then not murder Marta. Um, so we could like have a scene of like seeing what's going on in Marta's camp through Saba's eyes if you want to do that. I don't know if other people have like stuff they want to do in that previous scene that we just left off at, but as a thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can leave that scene behind. But yeah,
I'm
having
pretty intent on getting my materials back, so
yeah,
I like to
Yeah,
try to
maybe
roll for that.
okay.
Paid good money for that brass.
Yeah, I mean, what's your intent? What do you there's a very hot burning effigy thing. There's this
Yeah.
giant thing, and yeah, everybody has like tossed the mask into the like base of it. I'm gonna quickly Google the melting point of brass.
Brass is probably stronger than gold, but
Brass melts at 900 degrees Celsius, um, and
It's not gonna melt in
I
fire.
I don't know what that means.
In a wood fueled fire, at least.
well, it's yeah. So like a bonfire. How hot is a bonfire? A well-stoked wood bonfire can exceed temperatures of 1100 degrees Celsius. So there is a chance it
It
is
will.
melting. Plus, it's also like a divine bonfire thing.
Yeah.
So it's starting to melt, right? It's this beautiful thing that is like losing its shape, and like its eye sockets are kind of like curling in on itself, and the mouth is
Yeah.
like dripping. Um,
Ooh,
do you have
dripping.
do you have like gloves that you can like put on, or do you just want to jam your bare hands in the fire, or
I well, the original plan was to try to like scoop it out with my axe.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
really have like my welding tools on me.
Mm,
And in this moment of desperation, I just want it back.
yeah. I mean, if there's a question, right? Like look to your beliefs, your instincts, and your traits, and think about are any of like you're determined, you're
Hmm.
stoic,
Hmm.
um, you're tough. Um,
I'm bearded, which maybe burned off at the end of this.
nah, your beard is as tough as the rest of you.
Not dwarven.
Stoic beard.
Yeah, your beard is as stolid and stoic as thou art. I mean, it's up to you, right? You will. I think in this case, you can jam your hands in the fire and like pull out the molten brass mask, um, or not, as the case may be. You can watch it. You can watch it dissolve because you can always come back and get the raw material. Do you care about salvaging the mask, or because if you just wait, you could come back after
I
the
care
fire
about
has
the
been put out.
indignity of this woman that I don't even know throwing my fine craft into this fire.
That's true.
I want it back right now.
Okay, all right.
Now.
Just grab it and stick it on her face. Okay.
I would like to, but
That's a
I don't
little
want to die in
extreme.
this session.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, let's say, I mean, it's a health test, right? It's not how fast you can. You're not gonna be able to pull it out so quickly that it's not hot, and you're
Right.
not like you're not in a position to. Yeah, it's like it's going to burn you. Um,
I mean, I look, I've been working directly at a flame for like 140
yeah,
years.
totally. It's your
I have
jam.
calloused hands.
Yeah.
This is my
This is your
thing.
thing. Yep. I believe in you.
I'm not afraid of a little fire, even though I probably
lot of
should be
applicable
in this
wises.
situation.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's no like you can't fork a health test normally. But we can do we could do a link test if you want to give yourself a bonus. Um,
Um,
which makes sense, I think. Lots of your
yeah,
wises apply to
I mean,
that.
I have like a lot of things that pertain to fire.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
So,
All right. Well, let's make a link test.
okay.
I think the test here is probably like fire and steel wise. Sorry, I'm looking through your character sheet right now. Yeah, because you're not actually making anything, and that's what black metal artifice is for. Yeah, fire and steel wise, for sure. Um, we'll say because you're trying to think of the best way to get it out of the fire without horribly burning yourself.
Right.
So what other things do you want to fork into that test?
Fire building.
Yep.
I still don't know what soot wise is useful for.
Knowing things about soot.
Is that helpful?
Not in this case. This is
Do I
just
know,
fire.
like-
There'll be soot later.
I can enlist you to help clean my singed, soot-covered uniform. for
Perfect.
armor.
Or you can use soot to like disguise yourself. You can make things out of it. Yeah. Soot wise is useful for things, but not that.
To get back in your graces, good graces.
You can fork black metal artifice if you want on this one.
Okay.
And also dwarven art wise, right? Because it's all related. So
Okay. Dwarven art wise, fire building, and what did you just say? Dwarven.
the black metal artifice.
Okay. So that's 3 mods?
Yeah, you're gonna roll fire and steel wise 3.
Oh, I just roll it first.
3 mods, and then if you can get let's just say ob 2 or better, you get a +1 on your health test to pull it out of the flame without hurting yourself.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does greed come into this in any way?
It was a gift for someone else, so no, I don't think so. You already got over the like I'm giving this away. It's not for you. This is like a pride thing, not so much a greed one.
Yeah.
Different sin, not magical for dwarves. Okay.
All right.
This is when you like take it back. You fish the material out, you take it back, and you like craft it into a knife that later you use to stab her to death.
Exactly.
You like it
Yeah.
better now. So okay, so make that test, and it's just ob 2, and then if you succeed, then you'll get a bonus on the. Yep, nice. Okay, so make an ob 3 health test.
Okay.
And you get a bonus die from the link test you just made.
Okay. So should I add that as a modifier?
Yeah, modifier
roll it
1.
separately?
And if you fail, it means that you're looking at getting burned. Like being burned will be a thing that will happen to you.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. So what does that look like when you fish the like melting mask out of the fire?
Well, since I don't actually take any damage for that, I used I have like a double. I guess I've never really like described what I look like, which is kind of weird. But I have like a double-sided battle axe thing, like a really long battle axe, and I kind of fish it out like a pizza shovel thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like fish it out of the fire, sobbing the whole time. Like sobbing and like screaming, like, why? Why would she do this? I don't understand. And I'm like digging it out of the fire, and it's probably like dripping and like melting into my axe, which I'm like also pissed about because now I have to clean up my axe. And
Yeah, there's like melted bronze running into the
like I'm gonna have to dig this out of my fine etching. And I'm just like so flustered about like all of these culminating aspects of my fine work
Yeah.
that no one cares about. Not even
disrespectful
Octavia.
ass motherfucker.
it's just the cherry on the cake. And I think I just ignore everyone and go back to my cart with my melted art.
Okay. So you turn to leave with this like smoldering, like melted mask in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Saba and Sia, I guess where so you've snuck off.
Yeah, as soon as things started getting all cultish, I was just like, okay, cool. These people are terrible. I'm leaving.
Okay.
And so yeah, I just like disappear and run off to
Yeah. Well, and you got stride
work
for
on
days,
it.
so you get a good head start. So let's see where you're at. You're saying you're gonna use like stealthy, right? Because you want to approach sneakily.
Yeah, I'm trying to like line up on Marta
Okay.
and her people or whatever.
All right. So she's got pretty decent like security going on now. Like there's people protecting her tent and stuff. So I'll oppose you. I'll make an observation roll. Why don't you make your sneaking roll first?
Okay, so I'm doing stealthy. I can cast my chameleon spell as well.
Yeah. Now the three of the chameleon doesn't. How does it work? It doesn't work if they're like actively looking for you.
Well, unless they are actively looking for me, they don't even get to
Yes.
like roll.
Yeah. So it's just a fork for stealthy then.
But I cast it to give myself advantage for stealthy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Go
And
ahead and do
this
that
would count as
first.
them actively looking for me because they're looking for people who are trying to.
Well, they're looking for you, right? Like I think it counts. They're like on very aggressive,
Yeah.
like guard
Yeah,
duty.
yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
That it should.
Okay. So you got to roll that first. Is that how that works? Let me see.
Yeah, sorry, my laptop is just being.
It's okay.
So I just need a success. So I'm just going for the basic effect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't get to go invisible.
Okay. All right.
But I can still make my stealth roll. I just don't get an advantage die.
Okay. Yeah. So you go ahead and roll it, and then I'll roll to oppose you.
And can I get anything relating to my previous like figuring out of this positioning and route?
Yeah, I'll give you an advantage die.
Okay, cool. And I'm gonna roll stealthy and does observation still feel like a good fork?
Nah, not in this case. I think it's just like stealthy, and then any wises that are appropriate to like the situation,
Cool. Okay.
if you have any.
What's my obstacle? Or, well, I guess
It's gonna be an opposed roll. Yeah. So you go ahead and roll, and then I'll roll observation. Okay, let's take a look here. So you've got
yeah,
two
only
successes?
two,
Okay.
but one of them's a 6, so I can get some fate going.
Okay. Yeah. Do you wanna use your fate?
Well, can I wait?
Yeah. Because you got to see if you beat the obstacle.
I mean, actually, screw that. I'll just use the fate. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So they've got
So yeah, I'm still at 2.
okay. So they've got 2 dice. I'm gonna give them an extra 2 dice for the numbers, just because they're like kind of on alert. And their base ob is 2. Nope. All right. So you managed to like get into the perimeter unseen. So I think we see the we see you sneaking through the shadows, and Marta's tent has guards posted like around it. standing with spears. They have bows slung over their shoulders, and they're looking kind of like they're looking in the direction of the big column of black smoke that's now kind of blocking the moonlight coming down onto the camp, nervously and like talking kind of quietly amongst themselves. You can hear a loud conversation, like there's some like heated conversation happening inside Marta's tent.
And do I hear like her voice?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. What to do? So I don't have like a clean shot on Marta.
Yeah, not unless she comes out of her tent.
And Octavian asked me to like take out her inner circle. I think I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and like see who comes out of the tent. And if it's Habani, I'm gonna try to kill him. If it's Marta, I'm gonna try to kill her.
Okay. Yeah. Just hang out by the tent. All right, so you're in position. Bernard and Octavian, along with Rubati and the cult followers, where do you go, Octavian? They're following you.
We're going to the front door. We're going to march right up to Rubati's or to Marta's tent.
Okay.
And what? Yeah.
Okay. So, so you come like basically like through the through the village, and like the tents are starting to like people are coming out and like seeing what all the noise is about, and they're like everybody in the air in the like little tent city is like everyone in the clan knows that this night was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So you start to approach, and the guards, they shout like they're here. You don't understand, Bernard, you understand it, but they're like they're here, they've come, and the tent flaps like open, and three or four, I expect four more guards come out, so it's like a half dozen, and they all stand in front of the entrance to this big like sort of pavilion tent, spears pointed in your direction as you approach. I think with them, kind of like leading them, there's just like six guards, and then there's Aki, who you'd seen before, Marta's like main husband. And he's wearing like they have like leather. The warriors have like leather armor made out of the like the enormous mammal like hides. So he's wearing that, and he's got a kind of like helmet thing with like antlers on it. And he has this big like two-handed spear. And he's kind of like up front and center.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So at some point I had mounted my horse.
Okay, sure.
I say retroactively.
Yeah, that's fine.
But only to tell you that I'm dismounting it.
Perfect. Okay.
So I dismount, all my armor and everything, and I walk straight up to them. I assume no one has like engaged in combat yet.
No, there's no fighting yet. Yeah. But as you approach, they like hustle a little, and they like put their spears up, and Aki, in the common tongue, because he speaks it, Aki says, "You go no further, outsider."
I say, "You know why I am here. Stand down, and you and your people need not be hurt. Nor will Marta, if she knows to take a wise path in this change."
Aki says to Rubati, who's standing like near you, he says, so that you can understand it, he says it in the common tongue. He says, "Rubati, tell the outsiders they're no longer welcome here. They must leave this place and take you and these fools with them."
What is Rubati?
She just scowls. She like she's waiting for you to talk.
Okay. I'm like, I think you will find Rubati's sensibilities regarding our purpose in this town to be more reasonable than yours.
And Rubati says to you quietly, she says, "Say the word, your grace. We are ready to kill them in the name of the fire god."
And I sort of don't respond to Rubati, but sort of wink. I do wink. I don't sort of wink. I wink at, what's his name?
Aki, yeah.
Aki. And I say, "Well, will you stand down at this last opportunity to do so?
I don't know. Let's make a roll. Let's see if he stands down. Um, this feels like, I don't know, you're not really threatening him exactly. Your intent here is that he just gets out of the way and they go and
Yeah.
you can go and talk to Marta. Okay. It just feels like you're trying to persuade him. It sounds like you're just trying to persuade the dude.
Okay.
Does that feel right to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Because persuasion is, yeah, convincing someone to act on your behalf because it's in his best interests.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Because yeah, you're not issuing a command, right? Because you're not in charge of him. Command is for people you're either already in charge of or like giving orders to. Okay. Yeah, and you're trying to be reasonable. You're like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm just asking you, like, get the fuck out of the way. Okay. All right. So it's persuasion. The obstacle is his will.
I think I can help. Could I help by convincing by starting a roar in the crowd?
You don't actually have persuasion, right?
I do.
Oh.
That's kind yeah, sorry. Can I help by using persuasion to start a roar in the crowd? It's like, down with Marta.
Yeah, I mean the crowd's already pretty fucking riled up. Like,
I'm trying to draw on my rabble rouser character traits.
yeah, that would, yes,
crowd
doing
going.
that would be a huge mistake, and that would be great. You should do that.
Yay!
Yeah, totally. So you just, so you turn and just like shout something to the crowd, like,
Yeah, I go, let's.
yeah, that's the
Let's hear
opposite.
your
That's the
Octavian.
opposite of helping, and I'm really glad you chose to do that. Okay. Well, so let's see. Well, there's two separate roles here. There's the persuader role, and then there's the, like, I guess probably oratory to get people fired up role. So Octavian, you're gonna make a persuasion roll against an obstacle of Aki's probably got a will of 3, but you don't have persuasion yet, do you?
No.
Okay. All right. So it's will against a target, an ob 4.
Okay.
Still like pretty within the range of doability for you though.
Mm-hmm.
If you've started, noting the like learning of it on your sheet. No, you haven't yet. Okay, cool. So yeah, just go ahead and roll will. Ob 4. Ooh, 2 successes. Okay, but they're both 6s. Do you want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hope for 2 more. Spend a persona. All right.
All right. I roll 2d6.
Yeah, just roll 2d6, and this is like re-rolling your.
Yeah.
You got it. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So he like, there's a moment where the two of you like stare eye to eye, and what did you say? You're like, just like get out of the way, and we can deal with this peacefully.
Yeah, like there doesn't need to be bloodshed as
Okay.
long as reason will be seen.
Okay. All right. And then let's see if Bernard fucks it all up. So Bernard, while that's happening, you turn to the crowd and you're like trying to get everybody fired up. What's your intent? What do you want the crowd to do if you succeed?
My intent is to get the crowd to intimidate.
Yes, you want them just to be, you want to rile them up just enough, but not like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Show him that they're all for Octavian and not for them.
Okay, so if you succeed, you'll get, yeah, that'll happen. It'll just become this like din of intimidating but in control crowd, and the difficulty of the oratory is the most common will exponent in the crowd, so 2.
Great.
But you don't have oratory, so it's a will roll against ob 4.
Oh, I thought I was using persuasion.
Oh no, this is definitely, persuade is a 1-to-1 thing. Oratory is for crowds.
Okie doke, that
You're
makes more
having
sense.
you're having the opposite problem of Basil, where Basil would be like, "Well, if I want to get anything done, I better make a big speech, I guess."
Yeah. Is oratory a will?
Yes, oratory
Skill?
is based on will. Yeah.
Oh, I start with 3 dice. Okay, good.
So you can roll your will.
Okay.
The
And it's,
obstacle
you
is-
said 2?
It would be obstacle 2, but since you don't have the skill, it doubles to 4.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, here we go. I
Okay.
Did it?
So you got 2. But
Did I do it wrong?
no,
Oh,
it's okay. It's the sheet auto doubles
yeah.
it. So if you're doing it, anyway, it's fine. We
I
got the
should have
number of
put in 2.
successes. Yeah,
Okay.
should have put in
But I
2.
still failed.
Yep. So mark another test towards oratory there.
Okay.
And I think what happens is, yeah, like you get it started where you're like, yeah, down with Marta. It's time for a change. Let's get stoked. And they do, right? And then you like turn around to be like, all right, my lord, the crowd is behind you. And then you hear Octavian's horse make an angry like whinny, and you turn and look, and it's like reared up, and it's because a tent nearby is like on fire, and the crowd has like they've spread out into the nearby tents and are just like lighting things on fire, and I think you turn and you see like fights have started up. Like people are getting dragged from their tents and like stabbed, and like the mob is starting to like erupt. And at this point, I think that like you still get what you want, Octavian, in that, yeah, he gets out of the way, right? He's like, yeah, I think Aki retreats into the tent, right? He's like, he tells his men, he's like, fall back to the tent. We have to protect Marta, and they like withdraw into the tent, and he's no longer like blocking your way.
I also, when I turned back and saw them starting to set tents on fire, I just kind of took a quick sigh and went, just took a quick stick. Oh my God, these freaking heathens can't.
Okay. All right. So Saba and Sia, do you want to do anything when you see this?
I mean, just getting my "I told you so" speech ready. All there is to it. Like, I don't know, I can't do much from here, and this is what I was like told to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to follow orders. So I'm gonna hang out here until, yeah, if I like see Habani or if I see Marta, I'm taking a shot.
Okay. All right.
I, for whatever reason, am convinced that Habani is like, I'm suspicious. You've got shit going on.
Okay. All right. So Octavian, what are you gonna do?
So we basically have the outside of the tent cleared, right?
I mean, there's like fights happening around you. Like it's
Right.
Yeah.
Everything's on fire.
But like the specific, there's no like set of guards at the door.
No
to
one
the-
is directly blocking your way into the tent. No.
Okay,
Right in
so
this direction.
so I turn to address, I guess whoever is Rubati's like close to me, right?
Yeah. She's standing right next to you, just kind of surveying the spreading chaos.
All right. I say, Rubati, gather 12 of your people and be sure that each of them has a sharp dagger.
And she just nods, and turns and like starts like shouting to people. Okay, yeah, so that's a thing that can happen. And
Yeah,
then
okay.
what's the next phase?
So I guess when she returns with some people, I stop and I explain, I am to enter this tent and seek an audience with Marta, about which the fate of this town hangs in the balance. However, I will need support so as to avoid the habitual protection of her guards. And this tent will surely be, the entrance to this tent will surely be surrounded with her closest people as soon as I enter. I need each of you to take a station around the perimeter of this tent, and as I signal that moments before I enter, you will cut your way through with a dagger and step forward in a position of readiness to engage once I am inside.
And so yeah, Rubati is like translating like sort of rapid fire as you're speaking, and then she says something, and they all respond like with the same word, and like they nod sternly. She looks to you, and she says, These men and women would die for the fire god. They will die for you. They're ready.
All right, and then I say, take positions, and I nod to Rubati.
Yeah. And she snaps at them, and they rush off to like surround the tent.
And I don't know like specifically what the signal established was, but I assume Rubati can sort of
Yeah.
Trigger that
She'll let them know.
event.
Yep.
So yeah, as soon as I'm certain like it's been time for them to take up positions, and I understand there are battles going on like sort of around us, then I signal to Rubati to signal those people we just posted, and I step forward into the tent.
Okay. All right. So meanwhile, while that's happening, Gretelin, you said you went back to your cart? Okay. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find. Yeah, I'm making my way back to the cart while they're doing that in the same timeline, and all the while just like still crying heavily and just muttering to myself, just they don't deserve this. They don't understand what this means to have something like this in their possession. They have no idea how hard I worked to make this and how good I am, and no one deserves this.
So so as you storm towards the cart, you hear the sounds of like stuff being like tossed to the ground. You hear like the sounds of like metal like pans and like various things like being thrown onto stone, and you hear like a quiet like whispering. You don't understand the language, but you hear like people like whispering to each other. And when you come around a tent, you can see that your cart is there's like a bunch of your shit on the ground. Like some of your tools are like laying out on the ground. Some of your like pots and pans or something are like thrown aside. And you spot one of the Grey Plains people like on lookout, and he sees you, and there's a moment where he like takes like a sharp breath, and he turns over his shoulder and he like shouts something, and you hear more like stuff inside the cart. You can hear people like moving around, like he's giving them the like, shit, she's back, let's go.
So 5 seconds before that happens,
Okay.
the cooling brass mask that is now melted into this deformed, shrieking face.
Yeah.
I press it into my chest. I don't have a plate. It's just I think it's just light chainmail, like dwarven light chainmail. But I press it into my mail so that it forms sort of a chest plate that's attached to the mail. And I'm like, it's like burning a little bit. It's still hot, but
there's like smoke still coming off of it.
It's like scalding clay, right? It has like that soft metal consistency, and I'm just like pushing it angrily into my chest and crying. And I see the shit go down.
Yeah.
And I kill all of them.
Okay. All right.
And
so you're just gonna
that's
like
the burning wheel.
charge in and wreck them up. Okay.
Yeah.
So your intent here is to kill the interlopers here.
Yeah.
Just to stop them from getting away with your stuff. Okay. They want to get away from you. They don't want to fight you. So I'm gonna pose.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna pose with their speed. And you are using your axe skill to accomplish this, I presume.
Yes.
Okay. I want to check something about, because you may be able to leverage your greed here, because they're like trying to take your shit.
Yeah.
So there's a greed rule called stoke the fires, fuel the fires. If you spend a persona point, you can add any amount of dice from your greed exponent to any ability test. In doing so, doing so allows you to add any amount of dice from your greed exponent to any ability test for 1 point of persona. For the purpose of advancement for the augmented ability, the dice act like a persona point, so they don't count towards advancing the ability. Actually, that's good for you. And if you do that, it counts as a test for advancement on greed.
Huh.
Yeah, so it just means
Okay.
you pay for that with your greed. So if you want, what's your greed at?
Huh. 5.
Okay, so you can add between 0 and 5 dice using using that persona point if you want to. You have one, right?
I have 1.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be rolling. I mean, you may not need to, but it's up to you. Let's talk about the mechanics of this. So these hunters, they're gonna roll their speed, and they're like plainsfolk. They're runners and stuff. So they've got a 5 speed. So they're gonna use their speed to try to get away from you. And actually, I think that might be the first thing, right? You might have to overcome the fact that they've got someone on lookout. They're going to try to run away, and you're a bit slower. And then if you catch them, then you can make your axe test to chop them up. But you can use your greed on this this initial speed test. So I'm going to roll 5 dice.
Okay.
You're going to be rolling. What do you have for speed?
3.
Okay.
Short legs.
Yeah, exactly. So you may want to use some of that greed to get the advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to do that?
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
Okay. So if you spend the point to activate fuel the fires of your greed, you earn a test for advancement. Let's see, based on the number of dice you add. Yeah, okay. The number of dice added to your current greed exponent, the dice used count as the obstacle. So if you use all 5 dice, it counts as an ob 5 greed test, which just means you tick a greed test for, let me see, 5 on 5 is a difficult. Yeah, so it would be an instant like check for a difficult greed test.
Okay.
Which is fine. Like your greed will go up, and then the next time you do this, it'll be better, right? Like as you accumulate.
At how many greed do I just lose my mind?
At 10. If you go to greed.
Oh,
10.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So like right now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take a poke at your character sheet.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, right now your greed is you have nothing to advance it. So you need 3 of these to happen, and then also a challenging test. Then it'll go to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna roll your speed.
Okay.
When it asks you for modifiers, put 0, but for Artha, put 5. And then I'm gonna roll. I'll roll first, so you can get an appropriate
Okay.
difficulty on yours.
Okay.
So they're gonna try to run away from you. They run in fear. I got 4 successes.
Okay.
So you're gonna make a speed test with 5 Artha spent against Ob 4.
Ob 4.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. All right. So yes, you successfully, fueled by the power of your greed, you just chase them down. Okay. All right. So now, what does that look like? Like some of them, like they're in the cart first, and they're like, oh, it's just a dwarf. You're slow. It's fine. Like we'll have time to run. The guy turns and basically like he shouts something. The subtitle is like, the dwarf's back. Hurry, grab the stuff and go. And they like, start to get out of the thing. The guy grabs a bag they've got on the ground and like he throws it over his shoulder. There's some of your stuff in it, and he like turns to run. And then you charge in. What does that look like? Do you just like jump on the dude with your axe, or?
Oh yeah. I slam my mask down. I utter some really horrible dwarven curse that no one should ever repeat. And because the mask is on, it just sounds like
it amplifies it.
demon spitting.
Terrifying. Yeah.
And yeah, I charge full steam ahead.
Wicked.
Swinging my axe over my head.
Cool. All right.
Crying and screaming.
So now your intent is bloody murder.
Yes. It's absolutely murder. Like
They're gonna try to fight you, I guess. They're not very well equipped to do so, but they will try. So they're gonna fight for their life here. And let me roll first and see what you got to do. So, see, there's 3 of them. I got brawling 2. Okay, the number to beat is 3. So if you can get better than 3 on your axe test,
Okay.
you can always do the same thing. You can fork. You can do all that. You got fate and everything you can spend.
All right. Let me see what I can fork. My axe is not actually that great.
How many dice do you have in axe?
3.
It's not so bad. So what else? Yeah, what do you want to fork?
Intimidation.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
I feel like it's the only thing.
I mean, I would say fire and steel wise is probably appropriate here, right? Like you can take you can take these wises kind of like metaphorically, right? In the case of the special like elf and dwarf ones, right? Like you have a fire in your heart and steel in your hand, right? Like
That's extremely true.
yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, and I'll give you an advantage die for the mask too.
Okay, cool. So that's 3.
Yeah. So you're rolling 3, adding 3.
Okay. I'm sorry, what did you say the ob was?
Oh, it's ob 3. That's what I got.
Ob 3, yes.
Okay. Now, did you get any 6s on that?
No.
Okay. All right. So in a tie, do you have anything to break it? Do you have like a call on or?
My only call on is like that I'm charming or something. Which doesn't. Yeah, it's like soothing plats. It's not applicable.
Yeah. Let's see. We have stoic, but stoic just reduces your hesitation. Okay. So then we make another test, right? We just test the base stuff. So you're using axe and they're using brawling. So the base for those is
Power and power ability.
sorry, what was the second one? It's power what?
For brawling, it's straight up power, and then for axe, power agility.
Power agility. Okay.
Agility.
So it's the average of your power and agility, and they're gonna roll their power. So I'll roll for them first. There are 3 of them, so that's 2. Okay, I got 1 success. So what's your power?
Power and agility are both 6.
Oh damn. Okay, so you just roll 6 dice. Just so pick one, power or agility, and just roll it.
All right. Power.
Okay.
Just straight roll.
Yeah, just as it is. Yeah. Boom. All right, you murder all of them.
Yes. Yes. Feels so good.
So yeah, what does that look like? What do we see? Like you chase them down, and you realize they can't get away. One of them like grabs you, and then they're like trying to one of them has a knife and he tries to stab you, and it like bounces off your armor. But like, yeah, what do you?
It is. It's not graceful in the least.
You don't say.
Octavian would not like this style of fighting. I'm extremely angry and hurt by everyone that I've ever spoken to in my entire life at this moment. And there's just blood. It's like Tarantino, like arm, and then it's like a hose of blood. And the guys are just like, "Ah!" And it's like blood shooting out of both armholes.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like the description of it as like Tarantino's medieval combat, like just
Yeah.
severing limbs and
Yeah.
We definitely,
It's
I think
nasty.
we definitely get a shot of like the side of your wagon with just like blood going pff, like splattered on the side.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's totally what
You're gonna
happens.
paint your
And
wagon with their
it's
blood.
no, it's their blood like splashes onto my melted mask chest thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just, like cries blood.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Heavy metal Gretelin. Yeah, so you wreck up these dudes.
Yeah, I get my shit back. I leave the bodies there, and I pick up my cart to try to find everyone else.
Yeah, and I think at this point you can see that there are like fires kind of like spreading throughout part of the tent city. Meanwhile, back at the main tent, Octavian, you've sprung your movement, right? So you enter, and there's like ripping sounds and stuff. And Bernard, where are you during this? Are you gonna stay with right behind Octavian?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to be inconspicuous while
Okay.
all this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you want to try to stay unnoticed?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Let me get you an ob for that. Inconspicuous. Generally tested in versus against observation. Okay, well, go ahead and make an inconspicuous test, and then I'll roll if there's a chance you would be seen, and then we can set this to.
Yeah. And just okay.
Yeah, just set the.
I set it at 1.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry. So I had 1 success.
Okay, so you got a success. You're moderately. As long as someone else is being more conspicuous than you, you'll probably be okay.
And I figure that's likely.
Yeah,
in
you're
this situation.
standing. Yeah, you're standing next to the most conspicuous dude in town.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay near Octavian because I am mentally and probably not physically recording everything that's happening so that I can note it for posterity. But staying far away enough from him that I don't get stabbed.
So you come into the tent, and here's the scene. So you see Aki, Marta, and Marta's 2 other husbands standing near the back. The 3 husbands are like around her as like the first line of defense, and then outside of that there are the half dozen other guards, like her regular guards. So there's like 9 total like people protecting Marta. Marta herself is wearing like a similar, like she's got her armor on. She's holding a big 2-handed spear with a bunch of like bone and like sinew sort of ornamentations hanging from the head of it. And she's like, they're all ready, like in guard pose, because they knew you're gonna come in. On the ground in the sort of middle of the tent, like the tent has been sort of cleared, and on the ground there's a one of Marta's like slaves, and he's dead, and he's been like cut open from like just under his sternum down to like the top of his like pubic bone, and his like guts are all on the floor. And there's like a bloody knife lying nearby. And yeah, his guts are kind of like spread out on the floor. And yeah, you burst in, and then the tent starts to like tear on the sides, and what was your order to like attack, basically, like disable the guards, or just
no, not really attack, just tear in and step in at the ready.
Okay. Well, I think that when that happens, when the like tent, when you breach the tent and the walls sort of tear, the first layer of guards, the non-husband guard, they like rush the attackers, and several like melees break out in the tent. So there's like small like struggles, people getting thrown into furniture, background fighting. What do you do?
I guess I just shout. I'm like, Marta, this day would come. You knew it would come. My grammar is like mostly correct in this instance.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I am like, your manservant or husband, perhaps, I'm not quite clear, has already surrendered once. Would you force me to bring him to that decision yet again?
And I think like Rubati's like shouting in their language, as you speak, like translating. She doesn't need to, but she's translating for everyone else in the room. And Bernard, you can hear her, like she's saying, like the fire is burning at your doorstep, Marta. You and your people are doomed. Give up now. Give yourself to the flames, and perhaps the tribe can be spared. Like she's doing what she was doing before. She's just like being over aggressive with the translation.
Yeah.
But Marta understands both, right? She can hear.
Right.
Same. So can Aki. And the husbands kind of like look at each other, and Aki says something to them like, be strong, stay strong. And Marta like stares at you across the room, and I think that her eyes like flicker for a second to something like to the left of you, and I think you see a sudden like flash of movement just immediately to your left, something like coming towards you on the left. Octavian, what are you gonna do?
Okay. I thrust my sword up to parry whatever might be coming my way. This is not a huge shock to me.
Yeah.
As a
Okay.
seasoned knight.
And what's your intent here? Do you want to just like?
I want to subdue whoever is attacking me and then continue the conversation.
Okay. Sure. So you want to like get them non-violently?
No, I will.
Because
kill.
if you have your
That's
sword,
not what I
it's-
meant. Yeah, no. I meant like through any means necessary.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's make a quick versus test. I will roll this person's knives. And you roll your sword. And we'll see how it goes. I got 1 success.
4.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you with ease, you just parry the knife that's like coming at you from the side. In fact, I think you hit it hard enough with your sword that it just shatters like on the blade. And then just turn your wrist and shove your sword into whoever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look. And yeah, it's the kid that was in the like climbing contest with you.
God.
And now he's like, you stuck your sword right through, and it's like you didn't even have to get it between his ribs because your sword is like sharp enough that it just breaks the bones, just goes right into his chest. And he kind of like looks like shocked, like he's holding this broken knife and kind of gurgles and like coughs up some blood and like falls backwards. And there's that like metal kind of hissing sound as your sword slides free of his ribs, and he just like falls in the dirt on his back, and it's just like clutching this hole in his chest.
I look to Marta and I'm kind of like breathing a little heavier now. After that, I'm like, Marta, you may not understand the ways of a knight, though I suspect you may have made a good one had you been a part of the Fire Clan to begin with and taken under the care of my instruction. But we, noble as we are, do not send children repeatedly at our foes in silly challenge when you could address your foe head on.
And yeah, Rubati translates something like, Tamsi is not the first fool child who will die to our fires if you don't surrender. No one is exempt from our wrath, not even children. And she like points at Tamsi on the floor. I want to see how Marta responds to this. So, I mean, what's your intent here? You want her to just like throw down her weapon and just like give up?
I want her to, give up.
Okay. This is an intimidation test, I think.
Okay.
This is you trying to intimidate her. So the obstacle is going to be her will, which is, let me see, Marta. Marta's will is 5.
Can I? So I don't have intimidation.
Okay, so it's an ob 10 will test for you.
Jeez. Can I? I mean, I can't win it.
You can't fork anything, so.
Yeah. So okay, I guess I'll just roll it.
You got will 6. You got some fate, so see
Yeah.
how it goes.
You said 10?
Yes, yeah, because it's unless you're using the skills learned, then just put in. It's 5, but it doubles the level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 6 probably not worth spending the fate on. If you want to, you can.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. All right. So she shakes her head and she says in like a language you can understand, but to Rabadi, she's like fool girl, see what you've done. Once the fire is gone, there'll be nothing left but ash. It's just like the old man said. This is the last generation. And she like stamps her spear on the floor and she says, if this is how it's to be, then I'd rather go out fighting. And she shouts a command to her like husband guard, and they, led by Aki, they like shout and like rush they rush you, and I guess Bernard by extension.
Okay.
Yeah, so they like rush at you.
As soon as they rush at me, I like whistle super loudly or something, and like just in the hopes that like someone's going to deliver on their obligations.
Yeah. So we see the like the battle cry go up, and then outside, Saba, you hear shouting, and then like a loud whistle from Octavian.
And this is my signal.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
what Octavian is hoping.
Yeah.
Can I see anything?
No, you just hear shouting. Well, I guess there's the tent. The
There's
outside of the
the
tent has like rips in it. So yeah, you could be like outside one of those and like peer inside. Actually, let's grab our last break here, and then we can all decide what the next thing is. And then we'll finish it up. So stick around. More of this madness when we return. See you soon, everybody.